Here's Mark Haney.
Welcome back. We are here with Craig Powell, President and CEO of RF Bioscientics, a locally based manufacturer of food safety equipment. How you doing today, Craig?
I'm good. Good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. I appreciate you being here. Tell us a little bit about the company and what you guys do.
Sure. RF Bioscientics, we develop innovative solutions to meet food safety requirements. And if you will, let me kind of frame that for you. Food recalls are becoming more important. They're occurring more often. They're certainly more severe when they occur. And then if you overlay that with what we're hearing from consumers, which is a sense that the food they're eating is too industrial in nature, too processed. Mm-hmm. And so, and when you really dig into that and say, well, what do they mean when they say too industrial, too processed? What they're really talking about is the use of chemicals in both the harvesting, the growing, and the production of the food. So with all that in mind, our job, our mission is to build non-chemical systems that work really, really well to improve the safety of food. And that's what we're doing.
So you're improving food safety with your equipment.
Absolutely.
And tell us about your customer base. I mean, why are you here in Sacramento? Why not? And manufacturing in Sacramento is not what it could be. Why is RF Bioscientics here?
Yeah. First of all, the technology we use was developed at the University of California at Davis, which is my alma mater.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. So there's a connection there. But more than that, California and Sacramento specifically is becoming the nexus of food innovation. So you have the academic side with UC Davis. You have the entire ag industry. California is still the breadbasket of the world. And then you have an industrial or technology piece of that as well. And Sacramento seems to be the place where all that's coming together. So it's a logical place for us to be. You
mentioned at one point that food is a hot investment because there's not enough land to sustain the growing demand. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. We need to produce 70% more food by the year 2050 to support 10 billion people. And the reality is we don't have 70% more arable land. Not to mention the issues that are associated with fossil fuels and water and all the other resources required to generate that level of food. So we have three options. We have to increase yields in the field. We have to change our diet. Or we have to introduce technology to reduce waste. And that's where we see our part of the food supply chain. Amazing statistic. In the United States, 40% of harvested food never reaches the end consumer. Okay? In developed countries, and when I tell people that, they're amazed. In developed countries, that waste occurs usually in one of two places, either at the retailer, at the grocery store, or in the pantry of the end consumer. In developing countries, that number is actually higher. It's probably closer to 50%, and it's primarily related to infrastructure between the farm and the first supply storage. Yeah, so we have a tremendous opportunity to address that problem.
Get rid of that waste or
Get rid of that waste. We could almost double the food supply overnight if we could attack that problem.
And that's what RF Bioscientics is
That's one of the things that really drives us, really motivates us.
Now, in building your business, as entrepreneurs, we're all thinking about how do we build businesses, and you have partners. Tell us about your strategic partners and your investors.
Yeah, we are primarily owned by a company called Allied Mines, headquartered in Boston, traded on the London Stock Exchange. And Allied Mines is what is now referred to as a commercialization company. That's a company that takes intellectual property developed at universities, or in the case of Allied Mines, also they have a really unique relationship with the National Defense Labs. Take that intellectual property, evaluate it, vet it. If it passes those hurdles, form companies, fund those companies, and ultimately bring those companies to maturity. So it's a way to really commercialize technology.
And in terms of, you have a factory over alliance with somebody in Europe, right? So most of us don't deal with the euro as much, but as a manufacturer and dealing with European alliances, how does the euro and the dollar strength work for you?
Well,
Must be an advantage right now.
Right now, it's absolutely. Because we're primarily selling in dollars and our costs are euro denominated. It's gotten much better in the last 12 months or so. Yeah.
And we've been talking about our 2016 resolutions. We've been talking about our goals and our commitments. What's on store for Craig Powell and RF Biosciences coming up this year?
Yeah, it's a big year for us. I think our mission, our goals this year are really related to, first of all, successful implementation of our machines, and then really communicating to a community that has a compelling need for this technology, for these type of machines, making sure that they understand that we can fulfill that mission. And then demonstrating that, because we sell to the agricultural community. It's a very they got to see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, experience it. We can tell them a good story, but they need to see it. And 2016 is the year where we really show our customers this is what we can do.
What challenges have you faced recently and you're trying to build this business?
I would say, the technology itself, it's a difficult thing to take technology out of a university, something that's been developed at a laboratory, even a pilot scale, and bring it to full commercial fruition. That's an incredible challenge. And fortunately, I have a phenomenal team, and we've been able to do that.
Well, you've got ambitious goals for 2016 and beyond. Tell us a little bit about you personally. I know when we sat in my office, you looked around and you noticed the book on my shelf, Ride the Thunder, and you know Richard Botkin, which was kind of a interesting coincidence. Tell us about you personally, and how do you know Richard?
Well, Richard was actually the leader of a small group Bible study that my wife and I and our children participated in. When we actually moved to this area, and we probably were in that group for close to 10 years. So he's a good friend. He's a mentor. He's been a terrific example to me. He's a tough act to follow too.
Well, you guys have both been fantastic today. Now, in terms of 2016 resolutions, have you set any of those yet?
Personally or professionally?
Let's go personal. Let's make it a little juicy.
Get a little personal. I'm on a fitness kick right now. I started, probably third quarter, fourth quarter of 15, and just want to kind of maintain that, build that in as a lifestyle, as a discipline, as opposed to maybe just a resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a resolution. What in your mind? What's the difference between a resolution and a firm commitment? I mean, are you committed to this?
I'm committed.
Change?
I'm committed. It was interesting. I'll tell you a little story. I went to the gym the other day, and it was the first time I'd been in 2016, and the number of people at the gym was incredible, right? And so I was actually talking to someone there, and they said, just wait until usually the Monday after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The volume will be back down again, and it'll be back to normal level. And to me, that's the difference between a resolution and a commitment. Commitment, you're there 12 months a year, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Craig Powell, President and CEO of RF Biosciences, locally based manufacturing, food safety. Thanks for coming in today. I really appreciate that. You and Richard bring a sense of wisdom, and a perspective that is, I know, appreciated by us entrepreneurs, and we love what you're doing here in the community, having manufacturing here in our community. Next week, we are going to actually have a fitness expert. We will be having Gary Barron, who is the owner and co-founder of Rockland CrossFit. We will be discussing the CrossFit craze and discussing the mystifying question, how do you know when your buddy is doing CrossFit? And the answer to that question is he will freaking tell you. Okay, so we'll be talking about that. We know that We know that CrossFit is taking off, so we'll be talking to Gary Barron next week. We will also be talking to, and this is a special treat, it's going to be a huge week next week. We're going to be talking to the founder of BJ's Restaurants, Mike Phillips, and he will share the story of how he started that popular food chain and how he and his partners took them public. Coming up after the break, we're going to discuss some closing thoughts on New Year's resolutions and on winning in 2016. I am Mark Haney. You're listening to Entrepreneurs Unlimited on Sports 1140 KHTK, streaming live, podcast, and YouTube at haneybiz.com.
Once again, here's Mark.
Welcome back, and let's visualize for a moment here. Let's think about 2016. It's December 31st, 2016. The press release comes out, and it's about you and your company, and what's it going to say? How's your story going to read? Is your company going to achieve record sales because of some great pickup you made along the way? Did you tackle the industry by storm? Did your company see another record year? Or was it the same old, same old? Yeah. Showed up, did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Same old, same old. Let's think about our story for 2016. What's the theme? Have you created a theme for your business, for your venture? Maybe there's a theme song. Tom, for you, you got a theme song for your, what are you going to look like at 2016, December 31st? What's your theme song?
I'm going to flip this on its ear just for a second because you make a really good point. I mean, you're talking about your vision, execution, and how you see yourself a year from now. And while somebody that owns a single business is going to struggle with that because, there's struggles in that. What are you going to do? Because you own multiple businesses, which means you have to look at it from so many different angles and they're all at kind of different stages. That's a very difficult thing to do. I really, I think about that sometimes. And I'm like, my God, what is going through this guy's head in any given minute? Because really your hands are in so many different things. It's got to be very, very challenging.
My personal theme this year, and I think it's a theme for all of our businesses, is stronger. Pound for pound, we're going to be stronger. Each of our businesses is going to grow. Each of our businesses is going to be more profitable. Each of our businesses is going to be stronger pound for pound. This isn't the year of excesses. This is the year of staying true to form and staying true to our commitments, our resolutions. And one of the things that we do at Haney Biz is we write things down, right? We've talked about that on this show. Write them down and revisit it. And we've created a system that it's called the Rockstar Checklist. I think you know that my business partners are rock stars.
Absolutely.
Right? If I'm going to go into business with somebody, if I'm going to choose a CEO for my company, that guy is going to be a rock star. He may be a little more rock and roll, but he may be he may like the slow dance type stuff, but you know what? He's a rock star, and we've created a rock star checklist, and really it's about accountability. It's about writing things down. It's about laying out what you're going to do for 2016, and then finding a way to execute on that. So I think for us, it's going to be a year about execution. And I brought the Rockstar Checklist. Yeah, we have so many companies. We got security, real estate, concrete, landscaping, limos. Marcus, Marcus is the main man on the limo company. You had to perform the Rockstar Checklist. How was that?
Oh, it was great. It was a great exercise.
And you got to set some goals?
Yep, got to set some goals and put down our thoughts for 2016 and what we're going to do. And speaking of what a theme song for this year is, The Only Way I Know by Jason Aldean comes to mind because, hey, we're not going to stop till everything's done.
That's the only way I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the team attitude that we have. And so the Rockstar Checklist is really about the numbers, accountability of the numbers, and really about teamwork, communication, accountability on our communication rhythms, which we know helps to build teamwork. So that's really it. And I think as we look at 2016, we got to ask ourselves: Are we showing up for the participation ribbon this year, or are we going for the trophy, right? So, and what's a trophy look like as we think about what this year looks for ourselves? What's it look like as an entrepreneur? Is that an extra work truck, right, with your name on the side? Is that adding 3 new employees so that you can take on a new venture? Is that a Christmas bonus for your employees, finally? Maybe you and your business partner want to get a place in Tahoe. I don't know what the trophy looks like for you, but I think as we approach 2016, at least in our company, and I think with a lot of our listeners, it's not really about the participation trophy or the participation ribbon. It's about coming home with something we're really proud of.
Right.
And so
victories.
I think so that ties back to the opening of the show, and really when we talk about commitment. We got the New Year's resolutions, which are fun, and the word resolution it sounds like the word commitment, but so many times we go to the gym, and by the end of January, we're not there anymore.
Right. People do fall short.
So when does a resolution become a commitment? When does a true commitment, and when does a good intention become a firm decision? I mean, good intentions, Marcus, you call them wish commitments, right? Good intentions.
I remember
right?
that. I like that.
Wish commitments. I mean, good intentions. I mean, it's like people trying instead of just committing to doing. Good intentions are like wetting your pants, right? It feels nice and warm, but it doesn't really do anything. You know what I mean?
Oh no, here we go again.
You can talk the talk, you can cry wolf, nobody believes you unless they see you in action. So I think commitments really are what creates change in this world. Commitments to writing a book, to changing the way America views Vietnam, like Richard Bakken shared with us. Commitments, that's how foundations are built. Commitments take courage. Commitments don't, resolutions, hey, throw some stuff out there. But commitments take courage, and you write them down, they mean something to you. Once you write it down and you start telling people, it is a commitment. And I can tell you right now, to my business partners, to my rock stars, to my friends, to my family, to my community, I am committed to being there for you. I'll share my rock star checklist with anybody out there. Get a hold of me, Marcus, Tom, and we'll be glad to help you. We want to help businesses in Sacramento grow, thrive, and reach their dreams. Never above you, never below you. Always by your side.
The bomb's busting in